Knowing the finger size for a ring is super important, so here are some tips and tricks for how to get it right. You may have heard crazy myths about guys who tie a string around their girlfriend's finger while she's sleeping just to get her ring size. So I kind of want to break down the best ways to go about getting a ring sized properly and how you can do that at home or at your jeweler. Obviously, the preferred way to do this would be to have her come in to a trained professional. What we do with a lot of our clients is the girl comes in, gets sized, we keep a profile on her, and then when her boyfriend's ready to make a purchase, we have all of that information saved. I realize this isn't always an option because a lot of guys do like to have that element of surprise, and maybe their girlfriend doesn't even know she's getting engaged. But certainly if you sort of feel that it's on the horizon, you may want to take it upon yourself to go to a jeweler and have your fingers sized. Let your best friend know, or your sister, your mom, just so that somebody knows what your ring size is, because it's likely that your boyfriend will reach out to them when he's ready. If none of these are options, there are a few things that you can do to kind of guesstimate what that size will be. So often I'll suggest to a guy that he finds a ring that his girlfriend wears. We need to know what finger that ring goes on, because if you bring me a thumb ring, it's not going to give me an accurate size for her engagement ring finger. If you know what finger it goes on, we can sort of work backwards to figure out what her ring size would be. And most importantly is that we always size a little bit up so that at least the ring goes on her finger during the proposal. We can always resize a ring. And I'm going to show you how a ring should properly fit, because a lot of girls feel uncomfortable when it feels too tight. But in actuality, you want it to fit as tight as it possibly can, because you're putting a top-heavy rock on top of a thin band. It's going to twirl if it's too big. So you want it to sort of fit as snug as possible without it being difficult to go on and off. This is sometimes what people would say looks like it fits. It goes on, it feels comfortable, you have a little bit of room. This is definitely too big. So what we do is we keep going down by quarter size until we find something that fits a little bit better. Still, that one is a little big. Now we're getting closer. So now I sort of have this pull at my knuckle, and it takes a little bit of effort to wiggle it over. And if I finally get to the right size, it should stop. I should have to actually work it, sort of maneuver it to get it off my knuckle without it hurting. So again, this is kind of how it should fit. We want it to get to the knuckle, wiggle it over. It may still have a little bit of room at the bottom, but that's okay. So often we'll put what we call shots inside a ring. It's those little balls that you see on the inside, and that helps generally if you've got a big knuckle, so it sort of can get over the knuckle and then sit snug at the bottom. For an engagement ring, you want that fit to be as tight as possible. If we're talking about a wedding band, you may have a little bit more wiggle room to go bigger. And what you should think about is, are you going to be switching hands? So will you sometimes wear the band on this hand and sometimes on this hand? In that case, you should measure both and sort of see if it's an option. If you're close enough by a quarter, even half a size, you can probably get away with it. Anything bigger than that, you risk losing the ring. So you're better off picking which hand you want to wear it on and sizing for that hand. Keep in mind too that generally the wedding band goes on before your engagement ring, so you'll have something to keep it in place even if it is a little bit big. There are some at-home solutions if you're not able to get to a jewelry store. This is one of my favorites. This is a really good and quick way to get your size. It's called the Multi-Sizer Ring Sizing Guide. It's basically a zip tie. It's got sort of pre-made notches for all different sizes. And really you just put it on your finger and pull tight and get it to be the right size. That should give you a pretty close, accurate measurement, at least close enough that we can then resize once the engagement ring is finished and on your finger. So to sum that up, it's always the best option to go and get an accurate ring sizing done by a jeweler. But if you can't do that, there are ways that we can guesstimate your size. And certainly the at-home solutions are a good way to at least get your ring size, make a note of it, and then tell somebody who may have some influence when that purchase is being made.